Imagine a world without cars. No road trips, no highways, no gas stations, just horses, carriages, and muddy, uneven roads. That was daily life, barely 150 years ago. But then, a handful of inventors changed everything. The automobile was born. Today, we travel back to the very beginning, to discover where all cars started. Before cars, the age of steam. Before gasoline, before engines as we know them, there was steam. In the late 1700s, Europe was in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. Factories filled the air with smoke. Trains roared across the countryside. Inventors began to wonder if steam could power locomotives. Could it power something smaller? In 1769, Nicolas Joseph Cugnot of France built what many call the world's first self-propelled vehicle. It was a huge, three-wheeled cart powered by a steam boiler. It could move on its own, but only at about 2 miles per hour. It was slow, heavy, hard to steer, and in one legendary test run, it lost control and crashed into a wall. That accident earned it a strange honor, the world's very first car crash. Cugnot's invention wasn't practical, but it planted a seed. Other inventors kept experimenting. Steam carriages appeared in Britain and America during the early 1800s. Some could even reach speeds of 20 miles per hour. But they had major problems. Steam engines took nearly an hour to heat up. They needed water and coal constantly, and they were noisy, hot, and unreliable. Still, these early experiments proved one thing: replacing horses with machines was possible. The dream of the automobile had begun. Chapter 2. The Birth of the Automobile. The breakthrough came in 1886. In Germany, an inventor named Karl Benz designed something completely new. Instead of steam, he used a small internal combustion engine powered by gasoline. He mounted it on a light three-wheeled frame. It seated 2 passengers, and it could reach about 10 miles per hour. It was called the Benz Patent-Motorwagen. Today, historians recognize it as the first true automobile. But inventions are only as good as their proof. And Karl Benz had a secret weapon: his wife, Bertha. In August of 1888, Bertha decided to take the motorwagen on a daring test. Without telling Karl, she packed her things and drove over 60 miles to her mother's house. Along the way, she stopped at a pharmacy to buy fuel, making it the world's first gas station. She repaired the car herself with her hairpins and garters. She dealt with curious onlookers who had never seen such a machine. By the time she reached her destination, the world knew the motorwagen was real. It wasn't just a noisy invention. It was practical. Bertha's trip is now remembered as the first long-distance road trip. She proved that cars could change the way people lived. Without her courage, the automobile might have remained just another forgotten experiment. Chapter 3. Early Struggles and Skepticism. But not everyone was convinced. Early cars were noisy, unreliable, and expensive. Horses still ruled the roads, and many people didn't want that to change. Horse carriage drivers feared for their jobs. Farmers worried cars would scare their animals. City officials complained about the smell of gasoline and the dust on unpaved roads. In Britain, the government passed the Red Flag Act. It required every car to be escorted by a person on foot, waving a red flag. Imagine spending a fortune on the latest invention, only to drive slower than a horse. For many people, the automobile wasn't progress. It was a public nuisance. On top of that, cars broke down constantly. Owners had to be part driver, part mechanic. They carried tools, spare parts, and fuel everywhere they went. But even with all the struggles, there were dreamers who believed in the future. They saw the car not just as a machine, but as a revolution waiting to happen. Chapter 4. Henry Ford and the Model T. The revolution came in 1908. Henry Ford, an American industrialist, introduced the Model T. It wasn't the first car, but it was the first truly affordable one. Ford's genius wasn't just in the car itself, it was in how it was built. He perfected the moving assembly line. Instead of workers building an entire car, each person handled just one step. This made production faster and cheaper. In 1908, a Model T cost about $850. By the 1920s, the price had dropped to under $300. For the first time in history, ordinary families could buy a car, and they did, in massive numbers. Over 15 million Model Ts were sold. It became the best-selling car of its time. The Model T wasn't just a machine, it was freedom. Farmers could reach towns in minutes instead of hours. Families could visit relatives miles away. Businesses could expand beyond their neighborhoods. By the 1920s, America was officially a car culture, and other countries were watching closely. Chapter 5. Cars spread across the world. While America had the Model T, Europe gave cars their style and performance. Mercedes-Benz, Peugeot, and Fiat produced vehicles that blended engineering with elegance. Racing became a sport, starting with the 1906 French Grand Prix. For the first time, cars weren't just transportation, they were competition. Across the globe in Japan, things were different. After World War II, the country needed to rebuild. Resources were scarce, roads were narrow, so Japanese automakers focused on efficiency and reliability. Companies like Toyota and Honda produced small, fuel-efficient cars. In 1966, the Toyota Corolla launched. It went on to become one of the best-selling cars in history. Meanwhile, cars were shaping culture everywhere. In Italy, the Fiat 500 became a symbol of city life. In Britain, the Mini captured the spirit of the 1960s. In America, the muscle car era exploded with Mustangs, Camaros, and Chargers. Everywhere you looked, cars weren't just machines anymore. They were identity. They represented freedom, status, and passion. How cars reshaped the world. With cars came massive change. Cities expanded outward, giving rise to suburbs. Highways connected towns and states. Entire industries were born. Gas stations, motels, drive-ins, fast food. The car even changed culture. Road trips became a rite of passage. Drive-in theaters turned cars into private movie seats. Music, fashion, and even slang revolved around car culture. But not everything was positive. Pollution grew worse. Accidents became more frequent. Traffic jams turned daily life into a waiting game. Governments built bigger roads. Communities redesigned themselves around the automobile. In just a few decades, cars reshaped how the modern world looked and worked. The future of cars. But the story of the car doesn't end there. Today, the automobile is entering a new era. Electric cars are replacing gasoline. Autonomous vehicles are learning to drive themselves. And technology is moving faster than ever before. Companies like Tesla, Rivian, and BYD are pushing electric innovation. Traditional giants like Mercedes, Toyota, and Ford are racing to keep up. Governments are setting deadlines to phase out fossil fuel cars. The questions are bigger than horsepower now. Can we make cars sustainable? Can we reduce accidents with AI? And what happens to car culture when driving might not even require a driver? If history tells us one thing, the automobile will keep evolving. The road ahead is just as exciting as the road behind. So where did cars start? From clunky steam machines that could barely move, to Karl Benz's MotorWagen, to Henry Ford's Model T, to the global car culture we live in today. The story of the car is the story of modern civilization itself. Every time you turn your key, or press that start button, you connect to a history that changed the world forever. If you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more stories, and share it with someone who loves cars as much as you do. Because here at MotorNarrative, we're not just telling car history. We're exploring the sound, the speed, the style, and the spirit of everything automotive. buckle up, because this ride is only getting started, and the next stop might just be the future of cars. Think about it. Entire cities were built because of cars, highways carved through landscapes. Families grew up with road trips and memories made behind the wheel. Wars were won, industries were born, and cultures were shaped, all because of the automobile. And yet, we're still only partway down the road. Cars continue to evolve, from gas to electric, from manual driving to artificial intelligence. The future of cars will be just as dramatic and just as revolutionary as their past.